Hello, this is Holly Beatty, the Joyful Warrior. I want to talk to you tonight about the Shaman in You program and the sneak peek that we've been having. A look into what it's like to work with me, to listen to me, to hear stories, to understand where it is that I come from as a shaman and as a teacher that can help you meet the shaman in you. Why now? Why am I sharing this with you now? I have an experience of seeking to initiate bringing the Shaman in You program to a larger audience and being quite thwarted in my attempts to do so before now. You'd think it would be a simple thing to have an idea, to be inspired, to have an experience that you feel is worth sharing, to want to help other people better their lives through something that has bettered your life. It's not because social media wasn't as easy before. Although certainly I have been a shaman for nearly 20 years now. But the mechanisms were not as easy when I first started. But that's not why. There's a right timing to everything. There's a ripeness that a fruit must have before it's ready to eat, before we can really receive the sweetness of it. In my own life, I've had to walk through the door of on-the-job training, courage, faith, humility, trusting, all of these doorways and many more, many, many, many times, so that I could become the kind of teacher that wouldn't lead you astray, that has nothing else but your best interest, your own empowerment in mind. It's true. Why I know I come here to Earth time and time again as an infantry soldier of sorts, as truly a joyful warrior, and have suffered many, many, many different kinds of deaths at the hands of misunderstanding so many times, always coming with the same purpose and will in my heart to bring everybody that I can with me to heaven. See, when you get to heaven, there's this threshold, there's this place that you see that you can walk into that has a purity and an ease and harmony. And then you look back and you see everyone that is still in the forgetting, in the suffering, in the illusion, in the separation, in the separation. And you are faced with a choice. If you get this far, in your progress as a soul, to be able to stand at the threshold with consciousness and with a open invitation to step across. But for me, every time that happens, I look back and I feel each person's suffering as my own, and I come back. I'm not better or worse than anybody else. None of us are. We are all each other. And heaven really isn't heaven unless we're all there. That's the thing of it. That's the thing of it. Unless we all step across together, it's not heaven. And each person that gets this far in their own soul's evolution knows this. I'm not the only one who comes to this conclusion. So we have angels here, beings that have never been in a human form. And we also have angels here that are people that have gone through lifetimes of awareness and awakening and depth and development of compassion. And they choose to be here. They choose because there is no other choice. There is no way through except together. It's like there's an invisible line between this dimension and the other that has a frequency of love permeating everything we think, everything we do. And it's not boring. We don't need destruction and violence and power struggles to have a fulfilling, interesting experience while we're alive. We don't need that. We have the power of creation in our essence. It's never boring. It's never boring when you have the power of creation in your essence. And it's never too little interest to create something that's not destructive. You know, it takes a long time to create something of value and only a second to destroy it and dissolve it into nothing. It doesn't take anything to do that. It doesn't take any capacity to destroy something in a second. It is beneath us to simply destroy that which another soul has taken such care and time to create. Now, everything rises and falls like a wave. The wave will come in and rise into form, and then it dissolves again. And this is the way of things for the purpose of the dance of creation, to experience that peak moment and then let it recede again. And then from that experience, there's this beautiful pendulum. But there's also a constant that never rises and falls, that just is, that is allowing it to happen. And we are that. We are that consciousness. And when we are in that braid of consciousness together, there's a feeling of limitlessness that goes beyond the feeling even of freedom, that includes this transformational expanse. If you want to understand the nature of the universe, you just have to go inside and connect with who you truly are. There's a lot of different ways that we can do this. The shamanic path, it allows us to do this in a way that's gentle and direct and proactive. And it allows us to connect with how we're really designed, wired really, to interact with all of reality and the nature of the universe as a totality instead of as something that's limited. I think that hope is something that's really needed in the world that we live in right now. Hope. Raising our collective vibration beyond pride, which keeps us separate, and even beyond courage, which is required to move us into meeting strangers with an openness to see what else there is to connect with beyond our limited understanding of one another that comes from thinking that we know something about another from our mind. The first thing that we learn as a shaman is that the only way to know something is to feel it and feel it continually. So once you think that you know what something is, you've lost it entirely because you close off your perceiving and you sit in your storehouse of thinking that you already know something. So you close the door of the listening, the perceiving, the connecting. That's what we do when we live in our minds, when we live in an intellectual orientation to the world. Now, that is the world that most of us live in to get by, to get ahead, to gain something. But we really lose everything when we do that because it's all fleeting. We have it and then we don't. It's enough and then it's not. We buy in, we sell out. We satisfy. We make it enough, but we lose our spark of life. We lose our soul because we're not following it. So we're not whole. I wanted to talk in this day 10 connection moment just a little bit spontaneously from what wants to come from me tonight. It's been hard to live a shamanic life, to allow the impressions and inspirations and knowledge and guidance from the spiritual world be the source of every choice I make, of every choice I've made, without compromise. And at the same time, the work that we do in the spiritual world is so that we can garden our lives. I love how the Bible talks about our origin coming from the Garden of Eden. We really are meant to be gardeners, not to leave the garden in exchange for the mind making cities and structures that rise and that we lose ourselves inside of. We're meant to be stewards and gardens of this creative substance all around us that we get to come into and to be held by when we're born along our soul's journey to becoming gods and goddesses, suns that shine in the sky. Everything that we do in the spiritual world is designed to better our life and to better life itself. Life knows life, but not if it doesn't. If there's something within you that is disconnected, you're not going to feel life. And it's going to be invisible to you. It's going to just be material for you. And meaning is going to be hard to find. Yeah, I wish that I could extend my teachings and what wants to come through me to everyone for free and to, as large an audience as possible. I began becoming ready for this journey of beginning to share this training with the world by seeing flocks of eagles. Eagles don't really fly in flocks, they fly as pairs, couples who mate for life. But the chief showed me that the world needs millions of shaman, millions of eagles. That is what we need. This is that time. I'm hoping and I see that as those who choose to work with me choose to do so at this time, that they too will become teachers quickly. And I encourage that wholeheartedly. And I'm looking with love and grace for those who want to join me to help me feel the world with millions of shamans. So I hope you will join me soon. And thank you for listening to me tonight. I hope that there's great faith and hope in all of our hearts for the journey to come and building this new earth, raising their frequency to love, bringing love to life, and learning how to live with spirit. See you next time.